Welcome back to Good Teams Win, Great Teams Cover. We're bringing you our NFL Week 9 review. A crazy Sunday and action-packed week of NFL action, and we're here to round up all the main games, go over our bets, share our Fantasy Gameday winning lineup. Not ours, the actual winner. I'm, of course, joined by co-hosts, as always, Byron and Joe. Gents, how are we both doing? Byron, first of all, how was your Week 9 Sunday in the NFL?
Yeah, it was a good one. Yeah, a lot of upset and tight games that maybe we didn't expect. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's a shame about some of the injuries this week, though. It felt like it was a bad week for injuries, long-term ones especially. Off the top of my head, 3 players that we all love watching, Daniels, Kraft, and Joe Alt. There's probably more that I haven't remembered there, but those 3, all 3 players I really love. So, yeah, really disappointing way to end the week with Jane Daniels' dislocated elbow. Apparently, it won't be a long-term. It is his non-throwing arm. But it looked fucking horrible.
Yeah, it was grim,
so
wasn't it?
Fingers crossed for him and, everyone else who got injured to recover quick and well.
Excellent. Joe, busy this week, so not too much for me, but how are you doing, first of all?
Yeah, I'm doing really good. It's it was a fun week. It was a week where it's a bit like, what the fuck do you know of some of these games? Because some of the analysis, or that you're just watching, it's like, oh yeah, maybe this is why NFL's fun. That it's not always obvious and always going to go how the script writers are, how we all expect them. There's some twists, there were some turns, and yeah, I think the main game we're talking about had all of that with abundance, to be honest. So
yeah, and we'll get to that. I think I learned this week. Just need to trust the instincts. What I'm seeing, how I'm seeing it, and the takes are right. I'm just not following it through with what I'm laying, and it's biting me. I should be miles clear, and I'm not. And this is where we are. Just overthinking things. Just trust your instincts sometimes. Well, let's get to that main game first of all. It was without doubt the highlight game of the early slate and Sunday. Overall, it was a quite astonishing game. Chicago Bears 47, the Cincinnati Bengals 42. For the love of Colston, Bears barely get by. After doing their best to throw away what should have been a comfy win, rookie tight Loveland steals win to top off coming out party. And there was so much more that went on, but I think kind of just that off the headline, it's kind of the first time we really saw Colston Loveland as a huge factor in a game. So he's a top 10 pick. And, we maybe touched on very early to say, but have the Bears got a bit of buyer's remorse and should they have gone with Tyler Warren? But this is certainly the first kind of big game of Colston Loveland's NFL career. I think he's now on 17 receptions to 234 yards. And in the game, he logged 118 receiving yards and 6 receptions. That kind of shows you how his year's been going. But there's so much more to it than that. I don't know where do we start, Byron, with this one?
Joe Flacco career day out of nowhere. Yes. Well, not out of nowhere, but I don't think anybody expected him to have a career day coming into the game with an injury. Kind of thought, apparently Joe did. My apologies. Cal Monongai career day. Colston Loveland career day.
The rookies, yeah.
Not a rookie, but Caleb Williams career day. Looked very good. 20-34, 280 yards, 3 touchdowns, and joins a very exclusive list of 11 players to have had 10 or more pass attempts in the game and 2 receptions. I won't ask you to name the last time it happened, and I did look at what the number one was. And yeah, it wasn't it was something banned by the BBC for mocking prayer.
Oh, interesting.
Which tells you how long ago it probably was. It was 1953, November 29th. It was George Taliaferro. And also on that list is Whizzer White, who I just want to shout out as having an incredible name. Very unusual. Quarterback catches 2 passes in the game.
Well, there are four different players attempted to pass for the Chicago Bears in this game. So Caleb, you mentioned Tyson Bagent threw a pass. Yep. DJ Moore threw the pass to Caleb Williams, and Cole Kmet even chucked one as well. So Ben Johnson went deep into his bag of tricks for this one, and he needed it because in the end, the Bears were pushed all the way and more. I've got a number one for you on this game a little bit later on as well. Far more recognizable song as well. But yeah, it kind of feels like, I feel like if the Bears didn't kind of get this one boxed off, I felt like this might have been a season ender for the Bears.
Yeah, I can certainly see it, yeah.
kind of at 4-4, but just the way the day went in terms of obviously the Packers dropped a game, which we'll talk about later. The Lions dropped a game, it was against the Vikings, but it just felt like that game was comfy. That game was just, it felt like this game was just going to kind of peter out and the Bears were going to win by 2 scores. And then they just had a mad 2 minute. It reminded me of the Steelers against the Vikings in Dublin, where the Steelers were just in complete control. And then just out of nowhere, they just let in that case, the Vikings back into it. And the Bears managed to do that and more in terms of letting the Bengals get ahead. Everything from recovering the onside kick. But yeah, 41-27 with 2 minutes and 15 seconds left when the Bengals got the ball.
Yeah.
Like, how the Bengals are scoring the 2 touchdowns there. And just an insane finish to the game.
Yeah, I was ready to go on a rant how the Bears are just constant letdowns. They're letting down all the Bears across the world. Paddington,
Rupert.
Rupert, yeah, like laying the team down.
The most selected bear.
He's Winnie the Pooh. He's a bear, just laying them down, just constantly giving it away. But, like we said in the preview, it's a battle of, the teams got bungle or Bears it away, and the Bears did it this time. The Bengals did it this time. Like, how they managed to get that touchdown where there was 2 players around, Colson Loveland, and they just cannot tackle. Like, I can understand the frustration of the Bengals team. It happened last year. This is just a terrible defense. I think the second worst defense, I think it might be EPA of ever. And this Bengals are like 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in their history. It is crazy to be a Bengals fan, but you score 42 points on the team and you still come away losers. And it feels like it happened last year, it's going to happen again this year. And you just feel sorry for the, especially on offense, the Higgins, the chase, but double chase. That they're playing this incredible football. You get this miraculous to lead the game with the onside kick with that Higgins incredible catch, and you still end up losing. You can't make one stop, and it just felt like it was just they hardly held them. I think it was on 3 drives where they held them. It's just disappointing. And you think with the Bengals when they got that win against the Steelers, we were all like, okay, this season might be fun again for them. And then they just dropped two games to the Jets and to the Bears, where they got into a winning position, and now they're 3-6, when they could have been 5-4. And you just look up, they got the Steelers next, but then they got Patriots, Ravens, Bills, Ravens before the last 3 games, and that's the season's done.
Yeah, they nearly did. They nearly did to the Bears what the Jets did to them last week in terms of obviously a game where the Bengals were clear and somehow let the Jets come back on them, and then just nearly let which nearly did the same thing to the Chicago Bears. Just insane. So many twisted turns. And like I say, Flacco didn't deserve to lose that game. The offense didn't deserve to lose that game. So many problems. And it's starting. The offense are just completely fed up now. And it started to come through. We heard Jamar Chase comments after the game. We heard Chase Brown comments after the game, which we'll share with you now. And Zach Taylor had to go out and speak against it. So let's hear what Chase Brown had to say in the immediate. I always feel sorry for these guys in the immediate aftermath of the game when they just got microphones shoved in the face. But let's have a listen to what Chase Brown had to say.
We just got to play complementary football. Like, we put the ball in the end zone and go up a point at the end, finish the fucking game. Like, just end it. Like, that's it. Like, that's what we need to do. Just end the fucking game. Like, make them get us the ball back. Let us fucking go to 22 victory and let's end the game. That's how I feel.
Yeah, a lot of swearing from Chase Brown, but understandably so, I think, given the circumstances. Just it's high. It feels like that Bengals locker room is ready to just kind of fall apart at the seams. Because this isn't just a this year thing. This is off the back of last year as well, where the offense obviously was playing, you could argue Joe Burrow maybe should have been MVP in terms of kind of the year that he put together and what that offense had done and how good Jamar Chase was, etc. But just shout out James Rappian there, at James Rappian on X. He's from BengalsTalk.com, and go give James Rappian a follow. That's where we got the clip from.
Bengals certainly talked yesterday.
Yeah, so I suppose, yeah, I think Bengals done. I thought they were going to be fun. And the same because, again, they kind of went to Flacco, to kind of... And Flacco's been great. Like,
and it's certainly been fun.
Yeah, there isn't anything more I don't think that Joe Flacco could have done.
Especially when you look at and especially when you look at when you look at the run game, because they only ran for 46 yards as well. So it was on Joe Flacco while the Bears just did whatever rushing and receiving. I think that's what the Bengals don't do anything good. They can't stop the run or stop the pass on defense.
And also, like, I'd love to see. I'm surprised we haven't seen They also scored a kickoff opening touchdown.
Yeah.
They recovered an onside kick. They were leading with 54 seconds to go in the game. I'm sure that must be like teams that have done these three things and scored over 40 points. 600 going into yesterday, and now they're 601. Like, I haven't seen that stat, but it seems like something that'll be out there.
Feels like we usually get one for this sort of thing.
What more do you need to go right for you to be able to win a game with this defense?
Yeah, I know. Bears are flying. So again, Bears have got a run of Bears can get to. So what? They're 5-3 now. Giants next week. Vikings. I know they got a win, but Bears surely fancy themselves in that game, and got a run of games where they can kind of stack some wins. So I had a number. Joe, do you want to hit the number one sound effect? I have one.
Was Witter?
He's not always waiting now. So the Cincinnati Bengals, as a result of yesterday, became the first team since the 1966 New York Giants to score 38 plus points in back-to-back weeks and lose both games. The Giants lost 72-41 to the Washington Howards, as they were then, and 49-40 to the Cleveland Browns.
Points.
And that loss to the Cleveland Browns was on the 4th of December, 1966. Question to you, gentlemen. What was the UK number one on that day?
Feels like Beatles era. I'm going to go for Hey Jude by the Beatles.
Close. I think not that song, but I think there's a Beatles song a couple of weeks beforehand that was number one. It's great. 1966 is a great year for number ones. When I was looking at this, by the way, as well. Some bangers in there. Joe, do you want a clue? Maybe is a clue help towards for the artist?
Yeah, go on then.
Byron, you get a second guess with the clue. What's the clue? This gentleman, home was in the valleys. If that helps you.
Tom Jones,
Delilah.
See, it's Tom Jones. It's not Delilah.
What's new, Pussycat?
Pussycat. That's the song I was trying to think of. Yeah.
I know. Tom Jones is right. It's the green grass of home.
I was thinking it might be Free Lions if they're still basking out after winning the World Cup that year. The original one where it was just celebratory. No years of hurt.
Who would it have been?
Bobby's is still gleaming as is Jules Ream.
If it wasn't Baddiel, Skinner, and the Lightning Seeds in '96, who would it have been in '66?
Cannonball and the Beatles.
The two Ronnies and excellent. But there's absolutely bangers. So so a few weeks before it, I think. Oh no, so like the Beach Boys was the number one before it. Good Vibrations. The Four Tops, Reach Out, I'll Be There was the week before that. Beatles, Yellow Submarine. Kinks, Sunny Afternoon. Beatles, Payback with Frank Sinatra. Rolling Stones, Paint It Black. What an absolutely banging year for number ones in the UK. Which is not what we're here
football.
Which is not what we're here to talk about. But just thought I'd get that in. Excellent. Any more on Bears Bengals before we move on?
Not for me. Oh, actually, I do want to shout out. Sorry, Caleb Williams played really well. I know it was the Bengals.
Yeah. But
I loved how Ben Johnson was using him yesterday. I think they were really creative. And I was really harsh on him after the Baltimore game. I thought that he was appalling. He's week to week, it feels like Caleb Williams. But if he can, I know it was a defense, but his play on itself, I think, was really good yesterday. And I think the Giants next week can do the same if you can avoid pressure. And the Vikings the week after, again, if they can shut down Brian Flores' blitz, I think could be a good second half of the season for Caleb Williams. I think now that he's had a year, half a year with Ben Johnson, I'm hoping we see it keep improving. Fingers crossed.
Excellent. Cool. Let's move on. Let's move into our spotlight and takeaways. So I'm going to take the game of the week in terms of the what we're hyping as the game of the week. It was the Buffalo Bills against Kansas City Chiefs. Buffalo Bills 28, Kansas City Chiefs 21. Bills blueprint burns Chiefs again. I spelled Chiefs wrong, I've just noticed. Chiefs again. A fifth straight regular season win over the Chiefs. For the Bills, the defense steps up and suffocates the KC offense. Is this the way to beat them in January? This one felt a little bit different from the Buffalo Bills in terms of the previous regular season wins that we've seen. I thought the Buffalo Bills defense was incredible in this game. And I thought that was kind of the bit we all had questions on. We know what they can do offensively. Maybe they still do need a bit more help offensively. Can they go get a receiver this week? Maybe. It doesn't seem like they're going to, but can they go get Josh Allen that bit more help as a kind of a more reliable wide receiver and consistent? But I thought this game was all on the defense. And someone I want to shout out in particular is pictured there, sort of making another pass breakup on Rashee Rice. Cole Bishop was the MVP of this game by a long way. He was incredible. He had 4 pass breakups. He was all over Chiefs receivers, breaking up everything, and he just seemed to be in the vicinity. Everywhere Mahomes was going with the ball, Cole Bishop was there. It was the second-round pick out of Utah from last year. I thought he had an incredible game, probably his best NFL game so far.
All the more impressive, I think, when you consider Bishop's can only move diagonally.
Very good. It's one for the chess fans there. But yeah, I just thought he had a really, really good game, and ultimately it was the defense as a whole. But I thought he particularly had a great game. Joey Bosa, he felt like he had a great game for the Bills, and that feels like again that's what they need in January, that pass rush, and it just all came together. I thought for the Bills defensively. And I just never got the sense really in this one, even though it kind of stuck around as a 1-possession game. I didn't really get that dread that you normally get. That here they're coming, here they are. When they got it back to a 1-score game, I still kind of felt actually I don't think they're going to do this. I think the Bills have got this in hand.
I think the only time is when that field goal hit the post, and he was just like, "Oh, come on, not again." It felt like that was the moment. He was like, "The Bills are going to end up losing this somehow." But yeah, I think the only downside, obviously, I thought someone else had a great game, was Michael Hoyt. Obviously coming back, but he's torn his Achilles. Done for the season. So, yeah.
I do want to say, we're talking about the Bills defense. That was the lowest completion percentage of Patrick Mahomes' career yesterday.
Yeah.
They used 6 DBs, dime coverage, an awful lot. And yeah, I was going to shout out Michael Hoyt as well. I think what they did really well was they had a spy on Mahomes basically all game. Mahomes, 1 rush attempt for 5 yards. It's been one of my favorite bets of the season is Mahomes scrambling, and it just wasn't there. And they didn't give him the option to do it. I thought it was really smart. I'm sure Andy Reid, Matt Nagy will be thinking of ways to overcome that if they play again in January. I'm not sure this is a every week situation for the Bills, as opposed to this is a Patrick Mahomes specific game plan and perfectly executed. I still have concerns about the Bills defense going forward. Obviously, no Pacheco for the Chiefs here helped, soothe the rushing defense issues the Bills have had. But I think you just have to say great, especially like you said, great defensive performance by the Bills. And it really felt like one of them, like we've schemed specifically for Patrick Mahomes here, and they've absolutely smashed it out of the park.
Yeah, I feel like McDermott is like the Patrick Mahomes stopper in the regular season, but that's the issue. It's usually just a regular season. When it comes to postseason, it's usually the opposite. But you got to give shout out to obviously Josh Allen as well. 23 for 26, 273 yards.
Franchise record completion percentage for the Buffalo Bills, bearing in mind how good Jim Kelly was, especially those 4 Super Bowl runs.
Yeah. And also another 2 touchdowns on the ground. When you look at his stats just as a rusher as well, he's just looking more and more like a running back. It's like he's like beating running backs now with the amount of TDs he's getting and how many seasons he's had more than 6 touchdowns and all. It's just incredible. And we said it in the preview, like the young with it felt like the Bills would win this. I was surprised with the defense, but it felt like Josh Allen had that where he was like the last few weeks, he's like, we'll win these. We're playing the Panthers, doesn't really matter. But like, it feels like he stepped up for this Chiefs game, and yeah, they needed it as well to go 6-2. We talked about if they did drop that, we just how the Patriots are playing that. It's a much needed win, and it makes things interesting in the West, where if the season ended today, the Chiefs would win the playoffs, which I don't think anyone expected.
we talked last week about James Cook's importance in the review around how important he is. And yeah, they got to that magic number, over 100 rushing yards, which is key. He also became the first single player to rush for over 100 rushing yards against the Chiefs since Lamar Jackson in week 1 of last season.
Wow, that's a great start.
I'm on it this week. I'm on it with the stats this week. I pulled you a fucking Tom Jones stat. Like, what more do you want? But yeah, I'm not. With all being said, I'm not worried about the Chiefs. 5-4. I think they could weirdly afford to drop the game. It's tough in their division because obviously the Chargers won, Broncos won, and it's the fact that they've got to play the Broncos twice. I think they can win both of those against the Broncos.
It's up in the air, which I think is really good.
Because they currently sat outside the playoffs as it stands as well, which halfway through the season, which is obviously you never normally think that get to this point with the Chiefs, would you?
Yeah, and they're having a bye. I was going to say they're having a bye next week, and then they get the Broncos, obviously having that nice little bye. So but if they lose to the Broncos, they got the Colts, Cowboys, Texans, Chargers going forward. It's it makes it interesting. It makes it like the Chiefs just not running away with it. So that's a huge game. That's going to be amazing.
I think we're going to talk about it next, but I think all of a sudden that Colts game does not look anywhere near as scary as it did. Maybe
the Colts or the Chiefs
for the Chiefs a week, 7 days ago. For example, we'll get onto that in a second. Any more on Bills Chiefs before we crack on? Cool. Bills get to 6-2. Chiefs drop to 5-4. Byron, your spotlight and takeaway game?
Yeah, it's not Indiana Jones anymore. It's Indiana Groans and the fumbles of doom. Pittsburgh D had all the treats and no tricks for the beleaguered Colts offense. Swapping out Halloween candy for turnovers. Mike Tomlin doing Mike Tomlin things. Just a very, very back to what we expect performance from the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Danny Dimes 3 interceptions, 31 of 50. He looked like he turned into a pumpkin. I think about 100 people have made that reference this week. But it's true. Danny Dimes also 3 fumbles, lost 2 of them. He just didn't look like the new himself. He looked like the old himself.
It was the deer in the headlights yesterday at times. He had that look about him again that we saw so often for the New York Giants.
Yeah, and, Shane Steichen, you can coach up as much as you want, but is Danny Dimes still Danny Dimes? It kind of sucks that we're asking it. He did still go 342 yards. Jonathan Taylor was shut down as well. The Steelers defense obviously they gave up a decent amount of passing yardage, but you shut down Jonathan Taylor to 45 yards on 14 attempts. No touchdowns. Bad week for anyone who captained him in Fantasy Gameday. It's understandable why you would, because it's Jonathan Taylor. But this is what we expect from the Steelers defense. 5 sacks on the game, 6 quarterback hits. Keanu Benton, Alex Highsmith got a couple, TJ Watt got one and forced a fumble on it. They were just cooking. This is exactly what we think the Steelers defense should be. I don't know where this has been all season. I don't know why it came this week. But the
makes no sense. But
Colts have still only won once in Pittsburgh in lifetime. And that it makes no sense. Really, it makes total sense because this is what Mike Tomlin does every single season. There's a game where we go, they're bettered in every field of the Colts defense is better than them. The Colts offense is way better than them. And the Steelers said, no, actually they're not. We've still got history. We've still got this defense. It doesn't matter what it's done over the first 8 weeks of the season. We're going to win games when it matters. The Ravens think they're going to come in and take this division at 3-5. Well, we're going to keep winning games and make that an actual fight. And shout out, I think his name is Danny Smith, the special teams coordinator for the Steelers defense, for the Steelers, who had the great instincts to tell Boswell to kick it out of bounds, meaning that the drive started at the 25-yard line rather than 40-yard line. It's just very intricate knowledge of the rules. I absolutely love to see coaches have them big wins where I certainly didn't think of that as an option. I'm not a rules specialist by any means or a special teams expert, but I've seen a lot. He's been on camera a lot this season because that is one of the functions of this team that is really performing well, is a kicking unit and the special teams unit. So
the clip's great. I don't know if you go watch a clip in terms of, because in the game the commentators are going like, "What the hell are they doing?" Like they're just give the ball out, and then they have to get the rules guy in, and he explained it around because it was I suppose the missing context point is that the Colts had given up a penalty on the extra point, which moved the kickoff up, and they're kicking out of bounds. So we always just think it goes to the 40. That's not the actual rule. The rule is it's a set distance from the kick. So it's like, well, if you foul, then actually you basically get 10 yards.
Yep, and with how kickoffs have been, this year in the NFL. Anytime you get to save those yards in a real gritty game here, 27-20, Steelers won. It matters an awful lot if you can put another team behind the 8 ball. Just really smart stuff. The kind of coaching that wins your games. And ultimately, they did win the game by 1 score. The Colts got a field goal on that drive. Maybe it would have been a touchdown if it started at midfield. We don't know. And I just wanted to shout out Jalen Ramsey, who was playing safety in this game, and I thought he had his best game as a Steeler. I think he had 5 solo tackles, but he was just all over the field. It felt like letting his instincts do the work, which I think is maybe his future as a safety rather than a cornerback.
Do you think are we gonna get kind of a return to a more median of the stick? Because how bad they'd been, I didn't think that would continue to that extent.
Yeah,
they were so good this week. I don't think they can continue to play at this level to this extent. Are we going to see kind of a bit more of a middle ground where they're actually just a decent defense as opposed to kind of the floodgates opening as they've done the last month or so?
I think the big thing will be the opportunities. Like, how opportunistic are they? Their biggest games this season have been 6 turnovers against the Colts, 5 turnovers against Patriots. Their next 3 games are the Chargers, the Bengals, the Bills. The Chargers, Joe Alt is out for the season now, and that O-line is porous without him. The Bengals, Joe Flacco's been forming at a high level. We've just seen him take down Pittsburgh, but that O-line is a shocker and can be got at. And the Bears, you never know what you're going to get on offense. I've been just touting Caleb Williams this week, but last week I was saying Caleb Williams was shocking. I don't think it's out of the question the Steelers win all 3 of those games and the defense shows up. They then have the Bills, Ravens. Don't want to get too far ahead looking at their schedule, but I don't know if we can expect this week to week, because I think, it's obviously bloated by those turnovers, but those players should be creating turnovers because it's a great on-paper defense. So I don't want to say I don't know, but I would expect them to be good.
Yeah, now, like you said, it's kind of like you still worry like they only rushed for 38 yards. I know the Colts only for 55, so you're still relying on Rodgers. Even the Colts lost by 7. The Sunday had a lot more yards than the Steelers did, and obviously the turnovers cost them deal. Like even near the end when the Steelers fumbled in, they're only down 10. You're like, oh, this Colts team, with how bad they played, they could still be in it. But obviously, they got the interception. So it's hard to rely on turnovers week in, week out. We've seen with the Jags that when they start hot, especially that defense, just because the turnovers, and then when you stop getting turnovers, how do you then respond? Do you still give them yards? Can the offense step up? Which is a big question, which I don't know if they can week in, week out. So and I think vice versa. I think the coach it was just one of them games. You just if you have 6 turnovers, you're not probably going to win any games. The stats probably like 600 to 0 as well. So and they still were like in it to win it. They weren't too far off near the end. So they still had big games from Pittman, from Alex Pierce. I think the swallowing up Jonathan Taylor was the big difference in this game, which if he got running, then I don't think they would have had as many turnovers, because Dimes would have been holding onto the ball and throwing them interceptions. So I think that was the big thing for them. And it's this nuts that the Colts have won 5 for 5 on 4th down as well, when you just think of everything, including a fake punt, and they still didn't manage to win. So,
I feel like 27-20 flat the Colts a little bit as well, to be fair. Because again, I think that piece around which talk about the yards, the Steelers had so many short fields and quick drives because they were only they recovered the ball and scored a touchdown within 2 plays. I think the offense was actually really, really fairly efficient because again, it wasn't needing to cover much ground because of
on that note of not covering much ground. Aaron Rodgers was the first lowest air yards per attempt of any quarterback game this season, the 3rd lowest in the league this season, 2.7 air yards per attempt, completed 1 throw over 10 air yards. But the one, 27-20, doesn't matter. Efficiency is the new Aaron Rodgers meta, it feels like. He doesn't need to be slinging it downfield and hoping for Hail Marys. Get DK Metcalf yakking it up and, you can win games.
It's evolved. So, weirdly, this 7-2, I just felt the manner of the defeat. So if the Colts had just lost to the Steelers, okay, it was a favourite or whatever. It's the manner of how they lost. I think this might just be a trigger for the Colts now to have a collapse is harsh because, again, they performed way beyond expectations. I think Danny Dimes might have a rough go of it for a little bit. I think maybe, as the clock struck midnight, it's been Halloween weekend, I know, but kind of the carriage is turned into the pumpkin and all of that. Yeah.
The clock went backwards, so he went backwards.
See, he went backwards. Yeah,
They went back 2 years, sadly. I
I'm
think
not
what
quite
we have to consider there is the turnovers of it all. The Colts are the first team, this is per NFL research, Colts are the first team since at least 1950 to have 2 more turnovers in the game than they had in the entire season in week 8 or later.
Yeah.
Like, if that doesn't happen again, I don't expect them to be this bad again.
Yeah, that's
and they have been super efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
and like, the Falcons next as well in Germany, which is
we never know what's going to happen with the Falcons. Who knows who's turning up?
And also those international games can also just be funky, can't they? So yeah, the Colts had 4 turnovers before yesterday and now have 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, you just don't know which Falcons are going to turn up. Yeah.
And when they play the Chiefs as well, which I mentioned, they're coming off their bye as well. So if you're giving Andy Reid some shout
Andy Reid off a bye, yeah.
But I'm saying the Colts will be off a bye.
Oh,
yeah,
Colts off a bye. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think they're
I don't think
they're off a bye, but I don't think they're going to make the Chiefs play the Broncos and the Colts.
No, yeah, that seems unfair.
Yeah.
Cool, right. Steelers 5-3, Colts 7-2. Sunday night football for you, Joe. You love Sunday night. Every week you bring Sunday night
headline.
football.
If McDonald's Road wins, he's loving it. Another win for Seattle on the road. Battle of Washington goes west as Seattle stop the Commanders. And some say they're the best team in the NFC. Daniel's elbow iced, which he calls season cooked in DC. This was a blowout of a blowout. This was so easy by the Seahawks playing away from home. I know, like just mentioned McDonald's record away from home, I think 9-1 now. It's crazy when you think about it. But this Commanders team did not show up one bit. Obviously, Jane Daniels going out near the end, but that was just, that was Drew Lock time. It wasn't anything like the Commanders lost because Jane Daniels went out. This Seattle Seahawks, Darnold at halftime was 100% perfect. He was throwing dimes. JSN cooking where it's hard to argue, you still have the allure of Jamar Chase and Jefferson, but JSN week in, week out, like, is there anyone better where he just gets open non-stop?
I remember in like week 2, I said JSN was top 5 fantasy receiver the rest of the season. It was so instantly apparent that Clint Kubiak was scheming this offense for him. And Darnold is playing such great ball. And JSN, to me, looks like a top 5 receiver in the league.
Well,
sorry to interrupt you, Joe.
Is he about to put together one of the greatest wide receiver seasons we've ever seen? Because he's on pace to be the 2,000-yard man.
Wow.
Which obviously we've got Cooper Kupp, obviously Calvin Johnson. Cooper Kupp got close. Yeah, he's 948 receiving yards through 8 games. That's 119 yards a game. It's 118.5 yards per game. By 17, that takes you 15 yards over the 2,000. This could be one of the greatest wide receiver seasons we've ever seen.
Yeah. And he's one of them players where everyone knows to throw into him. The other wide receivers who were playing were Cody White, Torrey Holton, and a bunch of tight ends. So it's not like it's one of them where it's like, oh, he's not going to be double teamed. He's getting double teamed, and he's a big hit wide receiver as well. He's not just lots of receptions, like 5 or 6 yards. He can take it, and he's just been incredible. And the Seahawks just started this game. And again, we talk about defense of the Bills. This Seattle defense stepped up where they just absolutely swallowed Jaden Daniels. It was like every single play was like sack. And sometimes I know they didn't have Scary Terry playing for them on Halloween. They only had Debo back, but you could just see Jaden Daniels just looking down the field, and he was like, "There's no one to throw it to," and you just see him just like running around, and then they just swallowed him up. And when they just went touchdown, field goal. That's how they started the first half, and the Commanders only got one touchdown after going 6 and out, interception, fumble, 3 and out, and a touchdown before halftime. It was done at halftime. They could have put Drew Lock in at halftime. It certainly would have helped my under, but that team. Like watching the Seahawks, and I'm glad they played some their football so everyone can see. It's like this could be the best team in NFC now. We talk about the Lions dropping games, the Packers. We'll talk about the Rams later on, and the Eagles have dropped a few and they picked a few players. But this Seahawks team is like, what had they not got? I know the running, like even the running game, which it wasn't amazing, but I think they've had the most loaded boxes I saw something in the league, and there's still yards per attempt is like ridiculously high. So this team's got everything. That defense, which we knew with Mike McDonald was going to come good eventually. Yeah, it's looking good. You know, things are looking good in Seattle. Where I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the Super Bowl. They've just ascended so much this year, especially how they started losing the 49ers first game of the season to where they are now. It's like I think they're the best team in the NFC West and in the NFC.
One thing, and you alluded to actually about kind of this road warrior stuff, they really just need to get their act together, winning games at home as well, and just make that a fortress again. And I feel it will do naturally as they become more successful. The fans get back into it. Kind of that 12th man has kind of disappeared the last few years. I've seen that years under Pete Carroll when they were consistently kind of a playoff team. It was a real fortress. It was real difficult to go and win in Seattle. I think they need to get that back, and obviously it helps. I'm a winning team. I think that will come, but yeah, just that ability to win more games at home. I think because you don't want to kind of, if you're so good on the road and not so great at home, home advantage, home field advantage isn't an advantage for you, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I feel like they just need to get that out. But yeah, I've been impressed with them. A rare week where our guests team win as well. Like we had the 12 Talk guys on, so shout out to those guys. Big win, and yeah, it's a rarity for we have a guest on their team win.
Yeah, it certainly helps. Go
ahead. On your note about them potentially making the Super Bowl, the last time the Seahawks won 10 road games in a row, 2005 season, where they finished up in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And I'd say what's been impressive, they've had like injuries on the back end, but they've been able to replace it. There's like cornerbacks who are playing now who would be starters for a lot of teams, and they're like, well, they have to keep them off the field just how good everyone's playing. And it helps. I think there's only 3 teams who have had all the offensive line the same throughout the season. Yeah. That helps. They've not had any big injuries where their biggest players are out for the year. There's some on IR, but it looks like they're coming back. And now the draft class and Nick Emenwar is like looking better and better each week, where you can just introduce them, and it's just it's how like you imagine like with Mike McDonald's coming from Baltimore when they used to just get these draft picks, and it'd be something like, where's he come from? He's like a 3rd rounder, and now he's like their top edge rusher. It just feels like it's every week, and Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy, DeMarcus Lawrence is looking great. It's it's a scary defense, and then when you've got Sam Darnold cooking like that, it's I think all the injuries can really stop them at this rate because they're playing that good.
I think we might hear Nick Emenwari's name on the awards show we have coming up midweek as well. Not wanting to tip my Defensive Rookie of the Year tip already, but he's about plus 500 or 5-1. And I think that is a very good bet because he's been making some eye-catching plays. And I have a little trivia question for you guys as well on this game.
Oh, go on, mate.
The last quarterback who at halftime had 4 TDs and no picks was
Peyton Manning.
I was going to say Peyton Manning, but if it feels...
It isn't Peyton Manning. I don't know what you said, Joe.
Oh, could you give us a year?
I don't have it off the top of my head, actually. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
What a shit question this
I know. I didn't write it. I've seen it on social media. I didn't realize it didn't have a year on it until I asked.
I feel like it's a very Aaron Rodgers-esque.
It is a Rodgers-y start, but it's not Aaron Rodgers. Okay. My guess for the year would be 2021, but I'm guessing the year. And it's someone you wouldn't think of.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz.
No. Better than Wentz.
Better than Wentz?
Yeah, I think so.
Jared Goff.
No, worse than Jared Goff, and I'll just tell you because we don't want to disturb the entire show. Ryan Tannehill.
Ryan Tannehill. Wild.
Pretty wild, yeah. I didn't expect. It would have been near all day.
We didn't.
He just never came back.
We just not got to Ryan Tannehill between me and Joe there if we were here all day. I don't think.
No, to be fair, the place I read it said it would have been my 50th or more guess if I was trying to guess Ryan Tannehill. So, normally it didn't have the year with it, but I think it would have been about 21. That's where the Titans were great. So,
yeah, excellent, cool, right, yo. Jaden Daniels as well, awful.
Mm-hmm.
Awful. Why is he still in the game? We put 31-7 with 8 minutes left. Was it 9 minutes left?
I don't hate it that much. I will say, like. Quarterback staying an awful lot.
He's been
nowadays.
injured though as well. Like he's been injured. He's missed games already and has been hurt this season. Just get him out of the goddamn game.
I'd have more respect for that point of view if he hurt his knee. Like he didn't re-injure himself. He got a completely fresh injury. Dan Quinn, to be fair, has come out and apologized. Said it's 100% on me. I don't think he needs to, but if that's how he feels, fair enough. I disagree. Basically, like quarterbacks stay in games by and large nowadays.
And he hasn't played a lot. So
he hasn't
played a lot. Reps, but yeah.
I just think it was awful to see. But from my understanding, reading last night and today, it seems like it's a recoverable injury. It's not in his throwing arm. He might come back this season the same, which seems wild because they're not going to make the playoffs. So
they're
not back this season.
They've just lost 4 in a row. They've lost now. Yeah.
Apparently, it's not career altering, which I mean, it looked like it might be when you see it, but apparently, it's more just like painful and horrible at the time rather than long term. So hopefully, we don't see a reduction in Jaden Daniels next year.
Just sit him. Don't bother.
Don't even think about it. Yeah.
Just don't even think about it. Yeah. It was awful. And I just thought it was just unnecessary. I just thought it was a bit reckless.
I mean, it was, yeah. And Quinn's apologised. I think that's what much as he can do. He's took accountability.
Yeah. Make better decisions. Right, moving on. Weekly overreaction. And they feel a bit of a punching bag for me these last few weeks. It's the Atlanta Falcons again. Falcons fluff lines yet again. Miscues cause misery. Kicking problem rears its ugly head again and kicks off chain of gaffes to end the game. A valuable road win ruined despite London's best efforts in New England. Drake London did not deserve to lose this football game. He was incredible. I just thought he had a fantastic game. I think with 9 for 118 and 3 touchdowns, but just constantly kind of the catches he made. It was just contested catch after contested catch. Going up against Christian Gonzalez the vast majority of the day, and not many people come out on the right side of that, but he's so physical, his hands are so strong. I just thought he had an incredible day, and he deserved to win this football game for how good his performance was. And they're just Falcons, they just find ways to lose games. This one they win because it took them a while to get going. They were down 2 scores for a lot of it, but came back and actually we're playing some pretty good football. You miss extra point again. How are they going to get this kind of kicking problem solved? Because it's Parker Romo now after obviously Young Wei Koo they got rid of after week 1. Parker Romo now he's missing extra points and just key ones as well. Like it's just a point in the game where it's almost like so difficult to recover from. But again, they had the opportunity, they had the ball, they still could have won the game, but they should have been tied. They shouldn't have been having to come from behind to win the game. And then it just daft things. The Penix intentional grounding. Raheem Morris was screaming that the Patriots were simulating the snap count and it should have been flagged for 15, which never gets called.
And he said they were simulating the clapping. The clip doesn't show it. Yeah. I don't know if you've watched the clip, but the only person who's making any kind of gesture in that way is the safety on the field goal, like where the field goal line is, of he's where they need to be. And he's about 15 yards away. If your center can't tell the difference between a safety 15 yards north and Michael Penix 3 yards south, you've got bigger fucking problems.
But yeah, it's just a mess. And again, kind of this is one where after last week, having problems with another AFC East team, they could have righted themselves here. And again, they were a fairly big underdog, 5.5 they covered. I think the take was right because they were right in this game. And actually, they played on the whole much better and had a better performance. Defensively, kind of again, they're getting that pass rush. So they're still losing games, and they're having the thing that we've screamed about them missing. So we talked about they can't pressure the quarterback. They don't get sacks. Well, they're getting sacks and turnovers from them. They had 6 sacks of Drake May, including the kind of the 2 rookie first rounders, 1 forced, 1 recovered on that play. Can we just have how can James Pierce let himself? I know Will Campbell's a freak athlete. How can James Pierce Jr. let himself get tackled by Will Campbell? Luckily, they punched it in for a touchdown, but that could have been a moment there where you're going, he should be strolling into the end zone for set for 6.
Little arms.
Yes. He should be real quick to make up for it, Will Campbell. But James Pierce Jr., the whole thing with him about he's an explosive athlete in the draft, couldn't outrun Will Campbell for 15 yards.
Look, I mean,
yeah. You got any more? Just get them all out.
I think I'm done.
Okay, cool. But yeah, obviously that didn't cost them in the moment because they scored a touchdown. But like they're getting that, so that missing thing we talked about, they're getting that. They're still finding ways to lose games. Just.
Can I ask you? So I didn't get to see this game, but just like looking at quickly, 4th and 20. Do you think he should have gone for it?
I suppose you might as well at that point.
Just punting it back.
Like, you're just punting it. What's the...
Yeah.
Yeah, you're punting it, and I mean, what was left? 2. Yeah, I think you might as well go for it because you're down a point. You're giving them, potentially either way you're going to look at giving them the ball back.
Yep.
You can still hold them to 3 at that point.
Yep. And you're not that much less likely to hold them to 3. The only issue is there's more chance of running timeout.
Yeah.
And kind of with me is like, it's why I'll always kind of go to bat for like Dan Campbell's of this world. Is like, I'd rather die trying than like die not trying, I guess.
Well,
like
the Chiefs do it, didn't we? I know they lost the game, but Chiefs went for a 4th and 17, like midway through the 3rd quarter. Like it wasn't even particularly late in the game, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons I just want to shout out before we move on, Jamario Douglas, 4 receptions, 100 yards, touchdown. His uncle was popped, I guess we could say, and killed the night before the game. And he played despite that. He said his uncle was blessing him from heaven immediately. I just thought it was very cool of him to go and play that next day and have a game-winning impact for the Patriots.
Just shout out Mario Douglas' uncle. Just a shout, just a summary again, because the overreactions about the Falcons. The Falcons had 6 sacks, 2 takeaways, no turnovers, 3 touchdowns by Drake London, as you mentioned, and they held New England to 3 second-half points.
Teams that have done that are 600 and
601. Yeah, just insane. How just insane to lose this game. But the Patriots survive 7-2. They're rolling. I didn't look as impressive as they have been looking. But again, Drake may had a fairly solid game, I think. But this was just all the Falcons for me. Just.
And we don't actually go through this, but like one of the old Dave Damashek bits I used to love was Jenga pieces. So it was non-quarterbacks who were the most important piece on their team. Is Drake London the most non-important quarterback in the league?
Possibly, yeah.
Maybe not.
Reference, I think, at one point.
In Penix's 10 starts, Drake London's finished as the wide receiver 1 on a week 3 times already, which is absolutely staggering.
Yeah.
He is his guy. 118 yards yesterday. Next highest was 50, a 38 from Kyle Pitts. Next receiver was Darnell Mooney with 15 yards.
Penix only completed passes to 4 players yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so rare to see that in the NFL.
Yeah.
Now, so yeah. Anyway, Falcons, they're close to being done, I think.
2 behind the Panthers in their division.
Which is insane. Team's got kind of serious postseason aspirations, and then they get to play them. They're Germany next. I feel like they need to go on a bit of a run here. So they've got Colts in Germany, then they've got Panthers, Saints, Jets. Feel like they need to win 3 of those 4 games.
Speaking of the Panthers, a little while ago, Youngry Panthers playoff bound. Panthers keep pounding. The D stands up versus GB, and Dowdle dominates once again as O-line holds Parsons pressureless for the first time in his NFL career. Panthers win 16-13 in Lambeau. They now have a 41% chance of making the playoffs, as they're 2 games up on the Falcons, as someone just mentioned. 5-4. Incredible performance here against Green Bay. Really shut Green Bay down. Jordan Love, 26-37, 270 yards, and 1 interception. And the 1 interception wasn't his worst throw of the game. Do we have a clip of his interception that should have been? To Mike Jackson, who...
We do. He should have had 107 yard interception return, because if he catches that, there's nobody catching him.
Yeah, we highlighted last week or the week before Dylan Gabriel's safety, intentional grounding, and I said it's one of the worst plays I've ever seen. This is up there, because again, you can see on the screen here, if you're watching on YouTube or Spotify video, there's 11 minutes left in the game. The Packers are down a touchdown. This isn't the last play of the game. I feel it's important to specify. Because if it was, I would understand it a bit more. But I guess roll the clip.
Yeah, this is from the NFL X account at NFL. Make sure we shout out where we're getting it from.
The 13th play of this series. Love on the move. Nothing downfield. Making the moves to the near side. Jordan Love, eyes up, arms waving, lofts it up there. Oh, that's picked nearly by Mike Jackson. It's dropped. It's Carolina ball regardless.
Yeah, Mike Jackson there. He should have had 100 and whatever it would have been. 8-yard interception return for a touchdown because
Yeah, the closest Romeo Dobbs got to it, the receiver in the area, is Mike Jackson fumbling it to him. Unbelievable. I don't know what the Packers are doing. They are not out of it by any means. They are still top of the division, I believe, at 5-2-1.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, they're ahead of the Lions at 5-3, the Bears at 5-3, the Vikings at 4-4. But can this team be trusted to win a game? They've lost to the Browns, they've lost to the Panthers, they tied with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And now mentioned it
just
coming
a
into the
team
show.
who can't beat worse off teams, just play down to that level.
Are they going to beat
they'll be fine in the playoffs
football next week? Yeah, like
that's what I mean. Yeah, and we're back doing power rankings again. Like Packers are number 2, and then a week after, be like back down to 10 and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I think power rankings this week, I'm just going to pull them out of a bag. Might have Bryson number 1, don't know. But what I wanted to say was shout out end of season ACL tear. Mentioned it at the start of the show. Took a crash.
Yeah.
The Packers offense, the heart of this team, and season ender. So gutted. I've loved watching him this year. He's been a yak monster as he has been these last 2 years. And if he's not there, Matthew Golden is injured and not cooking. Christian Watson is Christian Watson. Josh Jacobs has been unimpressive this year. I mean, they're playing Emmanuel Wilson an awful lot. And if this defense can't dominate, big questions for the Packers.
Yeah.
Was it just the Panthers because he just looked like Bryce Young? He only threw for 102 yards.
Yeah.
What's Panthers defense? Yeah, they had a really, really good day. It's Panthers defense and Rico Dowdle is basically what it was. I think Chuba Hubbard's done. They must be seriously regretting that contract they gave Chuba Hubbard not that long
They can get out of it this year. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
They'll only eat like $4 million, I think, in dead money if they cut him
Fair
after
enough.
this year. Don't pay running backs, guys, unless they're special. Chuba Hubbard isn't special, sadly. And I'm delighted for Chuba Hubbard, I'm not delighted for Chuba Hubbard, he's lost his job. I'm delighted for Rico Dowdle, who should have been given a contract extension in Dallas. He should have been a Dallas starter earlier. We said all this a year ago. He's just a really, really good running back. 130 yards, 25 carries, 2 touchdowns. He's just fucking good.
And he got a contract in it this week. I think the Panthers gave him another contract.
Rico Dowdle? I think you might have been.
I missed that. I feel like you might have made that up.
I may have just made that up. I was talking about something else.
He should do. They should.
He should get paid at the end of this year. He's on a 1-year deal, I believe. And he's proven it over and over again that you give him opportunities and he will be one of the better running backs in the league, truthfully.
Yeah,
he's dominated
He's 27 in here. This is his 5th year or 6th year. No, 5th year.
But not much mileage.
He doesn't have a lot of. Yeah, he's still got a lot of tread on his tires, which is the point I was getting to eventually.
Yeah, and he just keeps putting up these performances week after week. Stop pissing around with Chuba Hubbard. I said this 2 weeks ago. You can either play the good running back or pay the one you played. We'll pay the one that's good. I mean, it just makes more sense. It doesn't matter what you've already paid him. You've already spent the money. Don't fall for the sunk cost fallacy or whatever they call it. Just play Rico Dowdle. He's really, really good. And like I said, the Panthers, 5-4, 41% chance of making the playoffs. I remember I said in preseason, I'd be shocked but not stunned if they made the playoffs. I still kind of feel that way. They've got the Saints, Falcons, 49ers next. Niners are obviously a great team on paper, but sadly an even better team in the medical room at this point. Lost another player to a season-ending ACL injury yesterday on defense, where they just cannot catch a break. They're better than the Saints. They've already beat the Falcons to 0. And if they win their next 2 games, put them at 7-4.
Yeah.
8-4 if they beat the Niners. They're not an 8-4 team, but your record is what it is. And the 5-4 right now. Shout out Dave Canales and shout out this Panthers team. I know we opened up by ripping the Packers, but the Panthers took them to town and beat them.
Yeah, exactly. They seem to be coming out on top in these low-scoring games as well. They beat the Jets in a real horrible game, didn't they? A couple of weeks ago. So they've got a knack of these kind of tight, low-scoring games. Cool. Yeah, Falcons 5-4, Packers 5-2-1. Although they're only a 2-loss team, they sat the 5-2-1 makes you sound like a really bad team. I think I don't know why it just does.
And 1 just never sits right.
Right. Overreaction, Joe.
Lamar back in the nest and Ravens back in the hunt. With Lamar back, Baltimore's dream of moonwalking back into contention. The thrill of the season is back on. Boos ring out in Miami. and Greer shown the rear exit in Florida. This is I was going to say bounce back. Obviously, the one last week to go 2-5, and with Lamar Jackson back, I wouldn't say he looked back to his best. The first half was a strange one where I felt like the Dolphins should have been up by quite a few scores, but just gaffes and just terrible play calling, and all around the Ravens got up, and especially that second half, getting Henry to 100 yards and just cruise control to the end. And the Dolphins, I think that was one of the worst atmospheres where I felt like the fans turned up getting ready to boo this team, even with them coming off a win as well. So it's more about the Ravens are back. Obviously, I know the Steelers won, but the Bengals are Bengaling. The Browns. And they can just keep on rolling because they've got the star players back, and the defense is stepping up, obviously, against the Bears and now against the Dolphins. It's looking all things rosy in Baltimore.
I feel so stupid. What week was Chiefs Ravens? That was week 4, and I was like, whichever team falls to 1-3, I'm going to back enhanced odds to win the Super Bowl. Really, I needed to wait another couple of weeks and then back the Ravens and got the odds because there's a path to win the division, to host a playoff game, and I'd got a good cash out, and that was me just holding to my word, which I shouldn't have done really. I should have been a scumbag and not done what I said I was going to do. Is the lesson there for you people? Be a scumbag. 28-6, and Joe, shout out this one because again we'll do round up of bets, but you hit again best bet of the week in terms for what we hit. Mark Andrews 2+ touchdowns, 14-1. You had to wait a whole 15.5 minutes into the game to cash it because Andrews scored his second touchdown. 30 seconds into the second quarter, 14-1. Great hit again, Joe. Which tight end are we backing in week 10 to score 2 touchdowns? Because that's 2 weeks in a row you've done it. So who we're going for in week 10?
This early.
I should have known it was coming. Because he gave out Mark Andrews in the review last week. He said he was going to back Mark Andrews.
You know what? I'm fancying Laporta Lions against Commanders.
Sam Laporta 2+ touchdowns.
I'm looking. Yeah, exactly. See if he's 14-1. I might have to look for 14-1 Titans.
Which Titans are 2+ touchdowns and 14-1. So well done. But again, they look good. Again, they didn't have to. I think they didn't really feel they had to do too much. It was real comfortable. And the Dolphins pretty pitiful again, really.
I would say that tripping call obviously killed the Dolphins' drive at the beginning. Because like I said, that it was not
on Ollie Gordon.
Yeah, that was rough. And just like. It's just little things like, because I thought they played well in the first half. I know they were down 14-6, but I think they outgained the Ravens by quite a bit. And Waddle was looking good. Just like fumbling, missing field goals. They just can't hit like fourth downs when it's like a couple of yards. When you think, again, this is why I think McDaniels is going. Because when he was the 49, he was the run guy. He made that running game tick. And it just feels like whenever the Dolphins are like 3rd and 2, 4th and 2, it's like you just feel like they're not going to get it, no matter who's in there, no matter what play they're doing. It's just, it's just disappointing. And like I said, they were booing hard at halftime. And I'm not surprised Greer went. I'll not be surprised. I think they might just keep. I think it's better just that all can just keep McDaniels to the end of the year and then just get rid of him.
What was the point? So, what was the point in doing it now? I suppose that was the thing. I was asking about Greer around. What was the point in doing it now? Like, why not just get rid of both of them together? So whether you do that now or you do that later on.
I wonder if it's because everyone's on the chopping block in terms of the players. Like they just traded Phillips to the Eagles.
Phillips has gone to the Eagles. Eagles do it again. He's going to be a factor for the Eagles, no doubt, in the playoffs.
There's rumors about Bradley Chubb. They're getting calls for Waddle. They're getting calls for Minka. So I wonder if it's like they get rid of the GM who's got this. He's probably got his favourites. He's got his people drafted who he brought in, and he gave John such a big contract to say, let's get someone who's got no ties to these players and let's just go business wise and just
fire sale.
And do that. And it's just like
didn't want to trade players. Basically, is what I heard.
And it's going to be so interesting, like how disastrous this year's been. Like if McDaniels goes, does Tua go, and like that'll make an interesting offseason. Who's going to take Tua and all that kind of stuff. And where McDaniels.
I feel like they're going to need to pay somebody to take Tua.
There'll be some stupid team who takes.
I'm not sure there is.
Raiders.
I think Tua's a very specific fit for offenses.
Yeah.
I am kind of intrigued to see if Mike
Someone
McDaniel gets
took
another
Russell
job.
Wilson. Yeah, someone took Russell Wilson. Just I'll pay him all that
Multiple teams
money.
took Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nobody took his wages. The Broncos ate all the dead cap.
Yeah, I think the Dolphins are gonna have to eat that and to get rid of Tua. That's what I mean. Cool.
And I do feel a bit for McDaniel because this roster stinks. And when he's had a good roster,
his hand in it becoming that though, hasn't he? I think.
And that was the angry stuff.
He's been the ultimate decision maker. Yeah. To be fair, like McDaniel went to bat for Tua and wanted to keep Tua when he got the job. But I don't think McDaniel's ever had roster set in power. I think that's always been Chris Greer. So I don't know. They
have made big moves though. I would say, like on defense, they brought a lot of like bringing Bradley Chubb in, paying Phil. It felt like they had like all the players
Ramsey,
there,
Phil,
and then everyone just like disappeared. And everyone just disappeared. So, like, we will figure like 2 years ago, we were saying, especially a regular season, like, wow, look at this team, and it's just not being able to
good.
Yeah, maintain it.
And we're only just 2 years away from when they scored 70 against the Broncos. And look at where those two teams are now.
And to be fair, though, like, again, this is my defense of McDaniel. Like, when a team was good, the players were good, the team was really good. But, like, Chris Greer hasn't drafted well, period. And you can't just keep trading for veterans like Bradley Chubb, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Ramsey, who are proven players. You can't just keep doing it. And, like, that's not a sustainable team building method.
Yeah.
You've got to hit on your draft picks like the Rams did. The Rams traded and then drafted really well. If all you do is trade for veterans and don't draft well around it, this is what you get. That's why I feel a bit for McDaniel.
Yeah, I feel for him, but then I'm also like, I know there was that false start, but then eventually it's like when you see a mistake each week, it's like we always say it's the coaching staff, and I feel like McDaniels gets away with a little bit because he's like the fun, quirky guy with the. If he was a hard nose, kind of like, oh, it's the coaching scheme, it's everything around him. When you see these penalties and stuff like that, and you see some of his comments in the press conference.
Yeah, it's not been a good year.
Yeah,
in that
sense. I'll start with sympathy for Matt McDaniel when he starts wearing proper trousers. Next up, I think we're to our full challenge. Guest has had the best week, I think. Yeah, because I can only get to 2-2. Rough week on the fourfold, which is a rough week all around, I think, but still managed to produce quite a few winning bets, which is good. But yeah, fourfold, no good. Mitch, shout out from he took on the task out of Mitch and Josh from the 12 Talk podcast. He went 3-1. Byron Joe 2-2. I'm 1-2. Pending Monday Night Football, I chased the over 50s. It did not work for me in my bets. It's probably not going to work on Monday Night Football. To be fair, was pretty convinced Kyler was going to play, and he is not. So makes a big difference. I wonder what that line, if it has changed. Anyway, Broncos Texans. I had the Broncos as my underdog, and it worked out. It was a real low-scoring game. I took Broncos Texans under whatever it was, 40 off my card Sunday morning. I cashed it out, decided not to go ahead with it. Of course, comfortable hit. 18-15. Broncos again. The Broncos have just got a knack, haven't they? I think of just kind of winning, just finding different ways to win. Obviously, the Texans defense really strong. Obviously, I had to play Davis Mills because CJ Stroud went out with a nasty-looking concussion. Like the hit he took was pretty rough, smashed his head off the deck. And yeah, it was Davis Mills. I forgot how long his neck is. I really did. Just kind of I've not seen him for so long. It's like giant neck.
I don't have the answer, but I am curious what your thoughts are. What is longer, Davis Mills' neck or Mike McDaniel's trousers?
Oh, Davis Mills' neck.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. But again, kind of Denver just found a way. I thought kind of when Stroud went out, they might have been able to sort of take advantage, and they didn't too much. Obviously, they stifled Davis Mills and the offense, which also just hasn't been great from a Texans perspective. But yeah, kind of the RJ Harvey touchdown and Cortland Sutton, followed by kind of the game winner, was enough. And yeah, again, it wasn't vintage and it wasn't massively impressive, but just solid defense again from the Broncos, and then just doing enough to get by this week.
Well, I think it's just the getting touchdowns versus field goals. The Texans got 5 field goals. The Broncos got 2 touchdowns. and that field goal. So sometimes you just need to punch it in, and that's what the Texans not being able to do. And it was there for them to win this kind of game and to get back into contention after last week's win.
Yeah, again, kind of with the Colts dropping a game, they could have obviously got to 4-4, and I know still a long way to go to close the gap, but still got to play them right. So Broncos 7-2 leading the AFC West. Any other thoughts on this one?
Just a quickie. Two quickies. This Texans offense, again, I know CJ Stroud wasn't in, but Jalen Null shone when Christian Kirk was out and Nico Collins were out. Didn't get a target this week. Yeah. Had a rush attempt for -3 yards, no targets. And if you like seeing running backs run straight up the middle for 3 yards, this Texans offense is like opium, because that's all Nick Chubb and Woody Marks do. They just get given the ball and they run for 3 yards up the middle. There was nothing to it. It is the talent poor and the scheme poor. It's really, really tough to watch them on offense, and it's going to be no better without CJ Stroud. And I feel really bad because he had a nice run early in the game, and I didn't tweet it or post it anywhere, but I said, why doesn't CJ Stroud run more often? Like, he's actually got wheels, and then like the next time he ran, he got concussed and knocked out the game. He's like, all right, maybe that's why.
Yeah. He slid real late, didn't he? I don't think it was if I'm right in saying, I'm not sure there was a penalty on the play.
I don't think it was to his head, the contact initially. I think it was shoulder.
No, just kind of as he slid down, and then he didn't get knocked in the head. He got knocked into the ground, which is how he got the concussion. But yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I don't think there was a flag. It was shoulder.
Yeah. Can I ask any worry about Bo Nix, 1837?
I just think the Texans just really good defense, I think, aren't they?
I am worried about Bo Nix. Yeah, I don't think he's making the step up. I think he's more in that Penix zone than like the big step, but like Drake May, even Caleb Williams zone of like is a game winner. I think he's a game manager at best. And Sean Payton's a good quarterback a good play caller for that kind of quarterback. I mean, Drew Brees certainly wasn't a game manager, but like he's had game manager types in his career where he's just got their weaknesses out of the way. And I think if you can use Bo Nix's legs as well, get him thrown on the run, I think he'll do enough to win your games if your team's good around him.
Yeah. And that defense certainly is. So yeah, Broncos 18, Texans 15. So yeah, the Broncos is my underdog. I had the under in Niners, Giants, and then it was points everywhere. 34-24, 49ers, Giants, CMC, huge game. I'll apologize, Joe. I was at fault for whatever the match was. It the match? Was it a fumble or whatever it was?
It was classed as a fumble.
Classed as a fumble. Yeah, it wasn't an interception. Popped up, oh, Matt Jones having a great day. He's 14 for 14, and then interception, fumble, whatever it was, popped it up in the air, and the Giants turned him over. But yeah, it didn't matter in the end. Pretty comfortable win for the Niners. How are you feeling? Again, lost. Byron had mentioned it earlier. Michael Williams out ACL.
I just expect every week. I think obviously it's a big loss because you can't just keep losing pass rushers. He's not like outstanding rookie season. He's doing well on the run. He's not really, his pass rushing ability is not, it's what it was, what people thought pre-draft, and they expect him to make a rise, and it hasn't worked out that way. That he's unable to, he doesn't have many moves to get to the quarterback. But obviously it's another, but I think if it was like Bryce Huff, I would be more concerned because it feels like, I know he didn't play this game, but he's going to be coming back. The guy they traded from the Patriots had a decent game as well. Sam Okin. I can't even say it. I'll say no, it's number 91. Sam 49ers. He had a good game out wide as well. It's just like, I think it was like 4 minutes to go, and it's just like, again, another injury they don't need. I think they'll be trying to look at more trades to get more players in, and they might have only got 2 active pass rushers for when they play the Rams this week. So it's a win. That's what they get to 6-3. See what happens with the Rams. They'll be 6-4, probably, and they've started off winning ways to get some players back on. They get Purdy back, hopefully Ricky Pearsall back as well. But yeah, good game. I mentioned McCaffrey before the game. Had a great. I thought Brian Robinson, he only had 5 carries for 53, but he looked good running it and deserved his touchdown as well. And just when you get in. Jennings had a decent game. Kendrick Bourne again. George Kittle with a couple of catches, and then Sky Moore, Watkins, and you just building it up for when Purdy and everyone gets back. And I thought the defense played well in the middle. Didn't start well, didn't end well, but played well right in the middle. That seemed
there was a lot of garbage time points, weren't there? I think, yeah. from the Giants. But yeah, nothing too much to say from the Giants. Giants 42-7, 49ers 6-3. There was a lot of booing from the Giants fans this week, and they're getting a bit fed up, which seems harsh. It's like
all the teams getting injured.
Yeah, like
and you got rookie QB who's doing okay, and your defense, special on pass rush, it's just everything else.
I thought they were chanting "Cam Scatterboo."
Possibly.
I was saying
chanting it a lot.
Yeah,
chanting it a lot. I remember that was Brian Daboll going under a bit of pressure, but I don't think there should be an expectation for them to win games like this. Anyway, I had the Lions as my favourite. I also had the Lions were also almost my overreaction of the week. They were worse. I thought they were, even though there was a much closer game on the scoreboard, they were worse than they were in week 1 against the Packers in this one. I thought I had this game on kind of a second screen while I was watching Red Zone. I thought the Lions were abysmal in this game. Really, really bad. That offensive line just was Swiss cheese. And we know it's obviously the Vikings' strength and that they blitz. But the O-line had problems week 1 against the Packers, and then it been a lot better, and then it was just a disaster, a complete and utter disaster against
and
the Vikings.
Historically, Goff and Ben Johnson's Lions offense has been really good against Brian Flores at home.
Yeah. I was just really, really disappointed in the Lions. Probably what pissed me off more of the Lions is when you go all in on Jahmyr Gibbs in your daily fantasy and they give him the ball. They give him 12 touches.
Yeah.
Why is David Montgomery getting more touches? It was almost that thing where they just decided this was going to be a David Montgomery game and not bother telling us.
What did JJ look like, McCaffrey?
I also thought JJ McCarthy was terrible as well. Everything was terrible this year. Apart from the Vikings defense and the Vikings defensive line, I genuinely thought I think it was a spell into half time where he looked like he'd never played football before.
As usual with JJ McCarthy, I think Paul's been too harsh. When he was pressured, he was bad, and his throwing on the run was poor. Otherwise, I think he was pretty good. His completion percentage over expected was plus 4.9%, and he was still only 51%, which tells you how much pressure the Lions were getting on him regularly. I think he used his legs well. I think it's important to remember this is his 3rd career game. I think he was fine. I don't think he was anywhere near as bad as people are making out. I think he was fine, not great. The Terry Arnold interception wasn't a great throw, but it was an incredible play by Terry Arnold. Again, that's not one I'm putting on the quarterback and saying, how's he throwing an interception there? I think that was just an incredible play by Arnold. And we did just touch on the Vikings defense. I just wanted to throw this shout out from Benjamin Solak. The Vikings had 10 tackle for losses, sacks, and in the running game against Lions, which is the most the defense had against Detroit in Dan Campbell era. Which I didn't really see coming because this Vikings defense has been very hit or miss, more on the miss this season. But if they can get cooking again, I mean, the NFC North's very weird. The Vikings are bottom of it at 4-4. If this defense can go in, I don't know. Like any team in this division can win or lose any given week. I think some credit for the Vikings for staying alive because I think we all kind of thought they were dead. I certainly did. It seems amazing to me they're at 500 because of how bad they've been. But they are at 500 at the mid-season point of the season, 1 game-ish back. It's hard to tell with the bye weeks and the tie. But they're certainly not out of the division race, which seems wild to me, considering what the division is and how they've been. Sorry, Joe. And
you think he was, big moments in the season. They were up 24-17 and the Lions had it on the Minnesota's 14-yard 1st and 10, and then they end up going backwards and block field goal. So it's just like that kind of swing is huge when they manage to get a field goal and put it 2 scores. It's when it's time to go make big plays and it keeps them in. It's just like it feels like the script was perfect. Get the Vikings back. Let's make this NFC North more interesting.
Yeah, certainly good for that. JJ McCarthy's got to be a lot better. I think you might say I'm going over the top, but I thought I was watching him at times. There's 2 or 3 running plays he set up. He didn't know which side the running back was on.
Those were crazy. Yeah. He ran the wrong way on at least 2 plays. Yeah.
Oh, the forward roll going the wrong way also.
That's when we should have clipped for.
Just insane. And just imagine if you're on that's like edge of field goal range and you do that.
I just burst out laughing watching it. It felt like you were watching like a football film, not a football game. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
it's like
odd.
been judo thrown. Yeah, like, and yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I might be harsh, but I particularly some throws nice, but then just somewhere he's just like he's rabbit in the headlights, doesn't really know what's going on, and I guess a very young quarterback, very early in his career. But you asked me how he thought he played, and I thought he had a gash game. Anyway, I'm waiting on the over on Monday Night Football to see if I get to 2-2. Joe also 2-2. You had the over in Bears Bengals. We've talked about that. Jags -3. Oh, overtime. This was 30-29. Yeah, this game was 9-6 heading into the fourth quarter, and then we just had the explosion in the fourth quarter and beyond for this to be 30-29. Byron, you got done on this as your under as well. You sat there thinking, sitting pretty.
If the Giants had covered against the Niners, I don't think I'd have turned up today. I'd have been on that much of a tilt.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, I don't know I don't really know what to say about this game. It just feels
Brock Bowers game. That's what we're talking about.
I was just about to say that this is the return of Brock Bowers, where they just could not stop him when I was just sat there. I was like, "Come on, Jags, get a touchdown." They got a touchdown. I thought, okay, they're winning by 4. I'm gonna hit this, and then they just marched down the field. Gino's not done anything all year, and so the fourth quarter went touchdown, field goal, end of that, and then. So, when the Jags went all the way down the field to make it 2016, and they had I think it was 3 minutes left, I thought I'd just stop this Red Bull 5 plays, 62 yards. It was just Brock Bowers is there. Maybe let someone cover him, and then sometimes you just can't cover him. I think there was an interception where it looked like the Jags were going to get in. Brock Bowers managed to make it happen, and I even thought with the Jags had plenty of time to score the touchdown at the end, and another one, it just wasn't quite there. The one for the big play at the end. And then, it goes to overtime. I know Paul was complaining that the Jags took the ball, that it was the wrong thing to do. But it is done. But the match, it helped. I was thinking this is going to be perfect for my bet. If you get a touchdown.
Yeah, I guess so. If your strategy is going, we're going to take the ball, try and run all the time out of overtime and just score right at the end. That is the most ludicrous strategy. And I kind of feel that was Liam Cohen's strategy.
Well, I thought when he first kicked off, I thought they were going to go back for the kickoff touchdown. And then the Jags, then the Raiders did it back as well. And again, they just marched down the field and then Bowers again. And then it was open for that 2-point. When he got to that point, I went to the Raiders to win. I thought, fuck you, Jack. You let me down. Let's go to 2-point. And then it was open. Tyler Lockett, first game. It was there. But big hand came in to swap the ball away. And the Jags squeak a win, 30-29. I thought, I worry for the Jags, that defense of what happened at the start of the year. Obviously, first 3 quarters were good, but, it's Geno Smith. You can't how he's been playing this year. You can't let him score them touchdowns. And he never felt like they were going to stop him near the end. And just unlucky for the Raiders not to get their 3rd win. But good win for the Jags, 5-3. But I feel so more for Byron. That under was an absolute killer when I saw that.
It's hilarious. Yeah, like I said, I don't care that much because it didn't kill my fourfold. If I'm 3-1 this week because of that, I would have been amused.
Good on Pete Carroll for going for it at the end, though, going for 2 to try and win it. You might as well at that point, and of course.
If he had kicked it, that would be the worst.
That'd be the saddest tie. But just shout as well, I think I shared with you guys in our chat the bet that I saw online. So somebody had a 4-fold anytime touchdown scorer, 4-fold. Danny Dimes, JJ McCarthy, Caleb Williams, and Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, Lawrence is running 2. So on the first Lawrence one, $200 to $95,000. 400 and something to 1.
Yeah, and Trevor Lawrence should do that more in the red zone because he tightens up and throws interceptions in the end zone.
Yeah.
Just run it, Trevor. Just run it because you don't know how to throw it in the end zone. Can I just shout out a couple of Brock Bowers things before I move on?
Yeah, go for
it. First tight end since Hall of Famer Shannon Sharp 30 seasons ago to have 12 receptions, 100 plus receiving yards, and 3 touchdowns in a single game. And he joined Hall of Famer Jerry Rice as the only player in NFL history have 12 plus receptions, 3 plus receiving touchdowns, and 5 plus rushing yards in a single game. And just a little tip. Well, I'm not going to call it a tip. I'm just going to push it to Joe. Thursday night football is Broncos Raiders. Brock Bowers is 14-1 to score 2 touchdowns.
Joe, there it is.
14-1.
14, there you go.
That's a little look.
Bowers 2+ touchdowns. Lock it in. Should we put it on the sheet now, Joe?
Let's just do it, yeah. Let's all go in.
Let's all go. Actually, yeah, let's all chip in. Team bet. Of course, we can't skip past this game without mentioning Cam Little.
Yes.
Broke the Justin Tucker's NFL record, longest field goal, 68 yards. It would have been good from 75. Absolutely nailed it. Should we watch it?
Absolutely, yeah, please.
Yeah, shout out again, NFL X account. So good. Yeah, 68 yards.
68 yards away. It's up there. It's out there. And it's good. It's good from 68. 68.
And just a great celebration as well from the Jags again.
What a great name for Big Leg, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cam Little, yeah. Obviously, he hit the 70-yarder in pre-season. That obviously doesn't count, sadly. Question is, how long will Cam Little's record stand? Will it even make it out of the game week?
Yes. But what I do love, again, I didn't think we were talking about kicking in this one because I forgot about it. Hopefully that's the last time we have to mention Justin Tucker on this podcast. Goodbye, sex pest. You are erased from NFL history.
Yeah, excellent. Cam Little, good stuff. Byron, you're fulfilled. Oh no, sorry, Joe, you had the Falcons as your underdog. So the tape was right. I think we said we obviously confident the Falcons would put in a much better performance, possibly even win. Probably should have done, and they covered the 5.5. Byron, your over was Vikings Lions. Favorite was the Ravens, a rare Thursday night football pick for us on this one. Charlie, obviously 6 in a row as well. Excellent work from Charlie. You had the Giants, as you already mentioned, as your underdog, and then Jags Raiders as your under. So 2-2 for you. You are 3 games clear of Joe. So 22-14 for Byron. I'm just falling further and further behind. Yeah, Mitch, as we mentioned, 3-1. Yeah, the Colts is his favorite. The Titans covered the 9.5, yet only scored 6 points on offense.
Yeah.
Fuck the Chargers. I bet the Chargers minus 8.5, I think it was at the time. How do you not cover this? And only
this is another one like the Bengals, kind of, where it's like they had a punt return touchdown, they had a pick 6 touchdown, and they still, I mean, I'm not going to say get blown out, but lose by a touchdown. It just, yeah, I think the Titans will take ending the season today, truthfully.
Yeah, we mentioned touchdown already. Joe Alt done. He's having to have surgery on it. How bad is that ankle sprain if he's having to have surgery on it? Rough, but yeah, they are 6-3, but we've seen them without Alt, and it didn't look pretty earlier in the season. Are we expecting it to look a lot like that again?
Yeah, I'm not. Sorry, that was a lot of noise and no.
This is podcast.
Yeah. What I was going to say is, if I knew Jolt wasn't going to be in this game, I would have taken the Titans plus 9.5. I don't trust the Chargers to win a game less cover without Joel, because they were appalling without him. Like, it looked like they didn't have an offensive line. I mentioned in our chat earlier that I was looking into backing Joel for the Offensive Protector of the Year award after his first game back, because like, this guy is so important to this team. I don't talk about Drake London as like the Jenga piece. I think Joel is it for the Chargers, because they just fall apart without him. And obviously not having Slater there is a factor as well. But without Slater, but with Joel, they look like a good old line. Without Joel, they look like one of the worst lines in the league. So yeah, really interested to see how they go from here. But I'm not expecting them to make the playoffs at this rate with no Joel the rest of the season.
Yeah, and they get to go up against that Steelers defense next week. That is coming off a high. Could be TJ Watt props.
Mm-hmm.
Prime time feels like a TJ Watt game. Cool. And then he had over, same as you, Byron, in Vikings, Lions, and under in Chiefs, Bills, which is insane that didn't hit the over, I think, after that first half went 34 points in the first half. And then anyway, so yeah, well done, Mitch. Leader for the week, 3-1, Guess 17, 18-1. ATS. I think we only have one game to actually talk about. So just running through ATS. Again, this is what I referred to at the start. 8-5 on ATS. going to be worst 8-6, possibly 9-5. Just take the bets that I'm picking from an ATS perspective. Bet them all. I'm going to have a good week. I just don't do it. I'm an idiot. Byron Joe, 6-7, possibly 7-7 or 6-8 after Monday Night Football. I hope you do get 7-7 because that would mean the Cowboys won. We all were on the Ravens, all on the Bears. Again, we had some stinkers. 1, 2, 3, 4 games we were all on that didn't hit versus 1, 2, 3, 4 that did. So I guess maybe 500. It's not too bad. We're all on the Bears. Byron, just you on the Panthers. Covered, obviously, on 1 outright against the Packers. Obviously, none of us were on the Titans. Just me and Joe on the Falcons. Me and Joe on the Niners. Obviously, none of us on the Steelers. Surprising. I abandoned it the week before. After, obviously, I thought the Packers game was the week they would do it. Me and Barron on the Broncos, all on the LA Rams. LA Rams 34, Saints 10. Rams go to 6-2. I don't think too much to say for this. Just probably a big headline out of it is Puka Nacua. I don't know if it was just more of precaution, but obviously he's just back from injury and then potentially injured again.
Hopefully he's fine. Devontae Adams 2 touchdowns though in his absence. Well, not in his full absence. Tyler Higbee got a touchdown. They played a lot of heavy personnel in this game. 3 tight ends. Terrence Ferguson got going. He had a long reception, ended up with 254. So yeah, I don't think Puka's going to be a long-term thing. If it is, it didn't sound like it was anything major. We shall see, obviously.
I had a prop 9+ receptions, 100+ yards, and a touchdown, and he came out like early third quarter. Yeah, and he was 7 for 95 and already had the touchdown. Like,
yeah, I think it's really cruel that Puka Nacua just can't seem to make it through like 3 games without an injury. But maybe if he was, 100% healthy all the time, the Rams would just never lose a game and it'd be boring. So who knows?
Yeah,
but I did just want to shout out. I've seen this stat earlier about play action rates. There's 2 teams calling more than 50% play action in the league this year, or running more than 50% play action. Seahawks and the Rams. And I know I harp on about it a lot, but just call more play action, everybody. Like, are those maybe not the 2 best offenses in the league, but you struggle to name 2 better, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'll just finish out the top 10 just because I think it's interesting to continue harping on this stuff. I won't give you all the numbers. They're the only 2 over 50, but the Lions, the Bears, the Niners, the Packers, the Patriots, the Bills, the Colts, the Jags, all those offenses, I think, probably perform better than some of their parts, especially when you look at like the Niners, who are trotting out who's not at pass catcher on a weekly basis. Just do it. We talk about it a lot, but just call more play action. It makes your offense really easy.
Yeah. Only the bit I've got from this game is Tyler Shook's first start. I know we saw a lot of him last week, but first start, it's rough for the Saints. Do you think the Saints are sellers? Do we expect him? Shaheed, Olave, do you think these guys might go tomorrow? Or one of them at least?
Shaheed.
I've heard more teams are interested in Shaheed as well. That there's not much interest in Olave.
I feel like from your perspective, Joe, I know obviously we talked a few weeks ago about how big a miss, and of course it will be Fred Warner is. I feel like maybe you could go get Demario Davis for 9 games, 12 games. You could do a lot worse than whatever it will cost you to go get Demario Davis for a little bit.
Yeah.
Put a call into John Lynch, sure.
Yeah. Feels like it makes sense in terms of kind of that veteran player. I know he's old as balls, but he's still really good. Anyway.
Yeah. And I'd like to put out my offer to Kellen Moore again. Tyler Shook is not going to start every game the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Give me a call, Kellen.
I'm surprised he only got sacked once as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
Thought he might have got real beat up bad in this game. Saints 1-8. Are they the number 1 pick? Do they win another game? Byron, you could be right here, and I kind of scoffed at it earlier in the season. When you said your preseason is that they wouldn't win 2 games.
Yeah.
It's looking pretty bleak.
Yeah, I'm really annoyed they won that 1 game because I had that 40-1 bet of their only win, or their first win to come against Panthers, to play the Panthers next.
Panthers a lot better than you thought they were going to be, though, I guess.
Absolutely, but I'd like that bet to still be alive.
Yeah.
Because we know the Panthers can win and lose in any given week.
Yeah. Not looking good for the Saints. Cool. Rams 6-2. Right, that's it from a ATS perspective.
Bets.
Should we do rundown of the bets. Again, kind of, I looked at it thinking, it's been a bit of a rough week. We've still got loads of bets through again. So I'll just do them in odd actual person order. So we'll do yours, Joe, first. So we mentioned already Mark Andrews 2+ touchdowns from Thursday Night Football plus at 14-1. Josh Allen, anytime touchdown scorer at even money. Kincaid and Kelsey 50+ receiving yards, 11-2 in Chiefs Bills. Joe also gave you Denver, Houston, so Broncos, Texans under 41. Indianapolis, Pittsburgh, it's just the way they're written, sorry. Colts, Steelers under 51. Falcons, Patriots over 45. So that's 6 winning bets from Joe. Byron gave you a Caleb Williams anytime touchdown at 43-20. Seahawks alt line of -6.5 on Sunday Night Football for 29-20, and an AJ Barner touchdown, a tush push touchdown at 2-1. So they're from Byron. I gave you Ravens 7.5. So did Charlie on Thursday Night Football. Alec Pierce prop bet, so plus 50+ yards and longest reception over 23.5 yards at 7-5. Seahawks -3 and Bears -2.5. So that's 13 winning bets heading into Monday Night Football. So yeah, it was 17 last week. So yeah, we've got 6 bets on Monday Night Football. So we could possibly beat that with a sweep or 5 out of 6. So we had a good Sunday Night Football, hit 3 out of the 6. So yeah, not dead. So yeah, still a good week. Again, that's 46 bets just in the last 3 weeks alone that we've given out as winners across our podcast and social media channel. So it really does pay to listen to good teams win, great teams cover. Fantasy Game Day winning lineup. So we'll chat through that. Just first up, make sure you are joining and playing the UK's best daily fantasy football platform in Fantasy Game Day. Go sign up using promo code COVER if you've not played yet. Get yourself a free entry after your first play. Must be in the UK, 18 years plus. And of course, please gamble responsibly. Shout out to our Week 9 winner of the Sunday Stars game, Anadeu.
Oh, I thought it was a tribute to. I thought it was like Anna do push pineapple.
Black Lace reference as well.
We're going way back on music this week.
Yeah. 219.74. CMC is captain for 68.6. Jackson Dart, 27.7. 2 other Giants in this lineup as well. Tyrone Tracy, I think a popular pick this week with Scatterbo going down, but only scored 6.7. Manangai, who didn't get the touchdowns, but had 170 odd yards, all-purpose yards, I think, 170 yards from scrimmage. 22.8. J-Mo Williams, 16.6. Puka Nacua, 22.6. That could have been a monster score. Brock Bowers, which was 43.3. And Theo Johnson, 11.7. So, yeah, pretty well-rounded winning. And Joe?
I was going to say, that's 3 of our suggestions in that team as well.
So yes.
3 last week as well, right?
Yeah, Jackson Dart and CMC.
Yeah. So that was your way of saying none of Byron's suggestions were in there.
That's why I said 3. I was just saying. Yeah.
Not going to bait me into reaction, Paul. I mean, it's just a fact.
Sorry. You've been good recently. So your lineups have been cashing. And you were nearly again. But Joe had a cashing lineup. He finished 12th. It looked like you were in for like a top 5 finish, but you just got Bowersed. So the Brock Bowers teams in the obviously late slate jumped up the leaderboard. But Joe, you finished 12th. Very impressive. I think you had CMC captain as well, didn't you? A quick shout out. Jenny's lineup cashed as well. 49th she finished. So shout out.
Helps, yeah, and it helps having 2 quarterbacks in your team with DJ Moore.
DJ Moore as well, of course, yeah. And he's.
I know my tips didn't make it into the lineup.
I'm just teasing you.
But I do just want to point out, I did tip the number 1 quarterback of the week. I just didn't put him in my lineup. I nodded, and I do.
No.
He shook the pineapple, but didn't put Caleb Williams in his lineup, who got 41 points. And I think Joe did, right?
I had Flacco.
Oh, you had Flacco? I couldn't remember who you quarterback was. For some reason, I thought it was Caleb Williams. I mean, you can't go far wrong with Joe Flacco, though. He got 40 points, so...
Career day, yeah. Excellent. Cool. So, yeah, go sign up. Go play Fantasy Game Day now. Use promo code COVER. Last bit of business. See if we shock Joe this week with this or not. Thursday Night Football.
Baker does it again.
Week 2. Texans. Fucking is. Overlay, why is that still in the deck, Joe?
Yeah, sorry.
7 weeks old. Right, I'm freewheeling this, yeah. So it's Thursday Night Football. It is the Las Vegas Raiders on the road at the Denver Broncos for an AFC West clash on Thursday Night Football on Prime. I think, if memory serves me right, the Raiders are 9-point underdogs, and the over-under is early 40s. I've just got it here.
I have it as 8.5.
42.
Yeah, DraftKings has it as 8.5 and 41.5.
It was 9 when we did the overlay an hour ago. So yeah,
Cool.
Raiders plus 9, Bronco over under 42. Altitude adjustment. Can Raiders beat mile high odds? Broncos riding on a 6-game winning streak with a ferocious defense coming out to play. Can Vegas bounce back from OT drama on short week? I would love to know the stats on what happens to a team that lose an overtime game and play on a short week again. I feel like they might cover more than you think.
Well, first we need to figure out what we think. And then we need to figure out
that you wouldn't. You think they'd be in trouble because they played overtime and then on a short week.
Yeah, I understand. I'm not sure how much I think it would happen. I really worry for the Broncos, though. Like, how much can you just keep throwing it to Brock Bowers? A lot is the answer. Like, you can, but I think it's going to be a real struggle. I mean, it's an 8.5-point spread. That's why, we're not expecting it to be an easy game for them. I do like Troy Franklin as a bet here, 19-10 anytime touchdown. I think he's been really good this second season. Bo Nix seems to have picked him as his second target behind Cortland Sutton, shutting out Marvin Mims a bit more, which, credit to him, he's outplayed him. But yeah, I don't think the Raiders cover. I just don't think they've got enough. But Denver play some weird games and keep teams around that you don't think they should. So I'm not sure I'll bet it at minus 8.5 or minus 9, whatever the line ends up being. But I think the Broncos, I'll probably pick them on ATS. I just probably won't bet them.
I feel like I'm just going to ride with Charlie, but 77% of the money is on the Broncos already.
Okay, I'm going to go Raiders under, and obviously Brock Bowers 2 touchdowns, 14-1 for the 3 bets.
There you go. Excellent. Raiders on you. What, as a treble?
No, just 3 seconds.
Raiders under and Brock Bowers. What's that like? 60-1.
It'd be nice.
Yeah. All right, we'll keep that as that. Excellent. Raiders Broncos Thursday night. Got there in the end. So thanks very much for joining us. Good teams win, great teams cover. Week 9 review in the books. Gentlemen, we are halfway there.
Speaking of which, we will have a mid-season award show coming out this midweek. We have yet to decide the awards. That's probably on me. I think I was meant to pick up some awards. But we'll kind of do a quick power rankings, maybe run through, and mid-season awards to come out, I think, Wednesday. So keep your eyes peeled for that bonus episode, please.
Excellent. And as always, make sure you're following us. Good Teams and Great Teams cover available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, Overcast, and video version on YouTube. Also, check out the socials at GTW_GTCX, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky for all our bet posts, clips, videos, everything. We're throwing it all out there. So make sure you follow, like, and subscribe, all that jazz. Plus, welcome to our new listeners from the Trinidad and Tobago, Turkey, and where was the other country that added this week? I forgot. Wherever else it was. Thanks for joining us. And we'll be back, as Byron mentioned, with our special mid-season award show in the next day or two.